Hello, welcome back. We have made it to week 2, and that means that we've been doing a little bit of making of quarter square triangles, and we've had some good feedback on our Facebook group. It looks like that's a good resource for getting any little questions answered, and also finding your confidence that what you're thinking the pattern is telling you to be doing, you actually are doing it correctly, and you can see other people's successes and just get that confirmation. I know it's hard. If you haven't made a mystery, there's a lot of faith, especially in the beginning, I think, that you're placing in the way that you're reading the instructions, and you can't look ahead a page or two and say, oh yeah, I can see now that when she says to pair these together, they then turn into this next step and then work into the quilt here. So there's a lot of, you're putting a lot of faith in those instructions and just making sure that you're being set up correctly for future steps. And it looks so far like everyone's doing a fabulous job of that. The pictures are fun to see. Thank you so much for those of you who are posting, and a special thank you to all of you who are answering each other's questions. That's awesome too. And don't forget, call me anytime. If you have any questions, or just comments or anything that you want to reach out to me about, I am available, and I do want you to have a really great experience. And if you are, you just need a little extra, cheerleading or something, I'm here for you. So definitely keep in mind that I do not mind receiving a phone call, and if it will help you in any way, then you just go for it. Just make that call. You can do it, or send me a message or whatever. I really truly am here for you. So at the end of week 1, we should be having some quarter square triangles made, and you hopefully when you sorted your fabric, you got them sorted into 5 groupings. 3 of those turned into 48 quarter square triangles, and they stay by themselves in their own little pile. From the 2 remaining stacks that you had, one of them is turning into 12 quarter square triangles, and it is also going to be in its own separated little group away from the 48. And the most important thing about those is that they have A and C and B and D on opposite sides of one another. So that is really important as we proceed through into the next couple of steps. If you didn't get that pairing quite right in your 48, really not a big deal, but it is important in that group of 12. And then your last little isolated pile is a group of 5-inch squares that you haven't touched yet. So as long as you have all of those things done, you are ready for clue 2. Clue 2 is going to be a little bit more of the same. We're going to continue to make quarter square triangles, and this time they're going to be little guys. So this last week, you made 3.5. This week we're going to make little smaller guys, and they finish to 1.5 inches. So you have 3 options here, and this is all in your paperwork, in your Clue 2 written, and it's also in the Clue 2 tutorial video. I wasn't going to make a tutorial video, but I got a little feedback on Facebook last week that you guys are visual learners. And truly, I am too. So I like to kind of watch along, and it helps me know that I'm doing things right. So I made that additional video, and it just kind of gives you a little more information about trimming and making them, and using the Miss Rosie's little cupcake pad of paper, and how you go ahead and use that. So one option is to use Miss Rosie's. I really like it. It speeds the process like so much. Let's see where mine is in this room right now. Oof. I don't see it just sitting around. But it's a little pad of paper, and you can see in the tutorial video how you just pin your 2 5-inch squares together, and you just follow the arrows and subcut it all apart. It's slick, and it speeds you up. Your second option is to make these the traditional way, and those instructions are also in the written pattern. Those of you who our hands don't work like they used to, or these are a little tiny, and that traditional piecing, they start out at 2.5, but when they finish, they're only 1.5 inches. So they're little guys, but they are precious in the quilt. So when you're done, you're going to make 64 of these. That's kind of a lot. If you are not up for that other option, there's an option 3, and that is to just take your 5-inch squares, cut them down into 1.5-inch squares, and use them just as one little solid square in the quilt, and it will be equally cute. So you have 3 choices for this week, but at the end of the week, you will have 64 little units one way or another. And that's the first part of week 2. The second part doesn't involve any sewing. That is going to just be getting our fabric sorted for week 3. So I do talk about this paper plate method, and I prefer to do this with my blocks always whenever I'm making a quilt. And we are going to be sorting our fabrics onto these plates. So again, the instructions are there, but you're just going to be making each piece, but pulling each piece out from your, I have mine, some of mine are pieced in there, but from your cutting. And as long as you pull what I've instructed you to pull out, you plop it on your plate and you get the next plate. And when you're done, you'll have 12 of these. So I know I have I think more than 12, but I'm working on making this quilt a little bit bigger this time around. I've made it like 5 times. So I thought, well, I might as well challenge myself. We'll see. So anyway, yes, so we're going to do a little bit of sorting as the second half, and that's going to be it for week 2. So I hope that you have a great week, and I am right here in my little sewing room, and I've got my computer right down here, and I'll be watching and waiting to hear from you if you need anything at all. I am working all day on Monday at the quilt shop, so you can stop by or call Calico Hutch if you want to reach me there. Otherwise, happy sewing, everyone. Thanks again for joining the sew along, and I'm glad you're having a great experience so far, and reach out if you need me. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.